Hey guys, I'm Van, if you don't know me, and I'm a huge fan of the Inheritance Game series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Exhibit A. Here's the huge family tree board I made just for proof. But I've been reading this series since I was a sophomore in high school, and I'm now going into my sophomore year of college. So like, it's been with me through some like formative years. This month, in July 2026, the final book in the Hawthorne saga came out. Here it is. I'm filming this after I've already read it, so I've got it all tabbed up and stuff. Got all my highlights and everything. But this book is the last one as of now. Jennifer Lynn Barnes claims that she might do some like standalone books, but like this is like the last main book. And that's huge for me. So I made a reading vlog of my experience reading it, all of my theories, and trust me, there's a lot. So I had a great time reading it. As I can say now after I've read it, I loved it. And so like stay tuned to the end to see my whole review and everything, but enjoy my process of reading. It's 2:30 in the morning and I'm about to start actually reading The Gilded Blade. It's Friday night, what better to do? So let's just go for it. I'm so excited. I'm so curious as to what's gonna happen. My predictions, I think there's a chance that Avery's mom, Hannah, might be alive. I don't know. Other than that, I kind of have nothing. I'm really excited to see like where Avery is. I know there's no Avery POVs, so I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen there. I'm excited to see more of Alice. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of like big lore drops in this. I'm excited to see Gigi and Rohan go on their sort of side quest that I believe was being set up at the end of End of Glorious Rivals. What else? I'm excited to see like Lyra and Grayson. I'm wondering if Matthias Slater is gonna be in this. I'm excited to see the Hawthorne brothers. Like, there's so much I'm looking forward to, so I'm gonna get started. Actually, real quick before I officially get started reading, I have to pick out like my little like kit for annotating. So especially for Jennifer Lynn Barnes, I highlight, I do sticky tabs, and I do post-its. So I have a whole bunch of stuff. So first of all, I pulled out this new sticky tab pack, and I'm gonna use like the top 4, mainly this one, because I'm going off of like this cover and the colors here. So I'm going for like pinks. So I have that. And then for my post-its, this is the post-it color I'm using. It's the closest I have on camera. It looks a little more salmon than it does in real life, but there's that. For my highlighting, I don't have a good variety of like pinks or reds, so I'm actually going with these colors, and I'll just do it accordingly. I have my pen, of course, and then I also have to do this, which is, I have a stamp that I put in the beginning of all my books, so I'm gonna do that for her. This is the stamp. Let's see what that looks like. There it is. Isn't that so cute? Shout out Abby who got me this for my birthday. Oh, my foot, ew. But yeah, isn't that just so cute? Like a little personal touch. Now it's time to actually get started, and I'll let you know how far I get tonight, but again, it is 2:30 a.m, so maybe not that far. Okay, I got through like, let me check what chapter I'm on. I did not get that far. I'm on chapter 5. I got through a bit of Jameson, Rohan, and Gigi's POV, and then Lyra's is coming up next, but I simply have to go to bed. I'm just like so tired. But I'm loving it so far. Okay, because the whole Gigi and Rohan teaming up thing is turning out to be much more involved with Savannah and Knox, which I do enjoy. I like when like the characters are grouped together and not just like on their own sort of thing, so I'm excited to see how that goes. there's definitely very interesting things happening, so I'm excited. Okay, I'm in the airport, but I'm on page 120 of Gilded Blade, and I'm liking it so far. I like the 3 different POVs. Like Rohan has never been my favorite sort of narrator person, but I'm coming around to him. But I love that like Jameson is working with Xander now. I just love the mystery of like where's Avery at. They just found some girl named Nora who was like coming after Gigi. The stuff with Lyra is tea, and like her dad, and the memory of like, you know, her being abducted and whatever. There's a lot going on, so I'll keep you posted maybe, but my flight got delayed, so it's gonna be a minute. Period. There's no way this means what I think it means. I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna read a little bit more right now, but I'm like about to go to bed, so it's probably not gonna be that much. So we'll see, but there's a lot happening. I'm very interested in what's happening. It's just, first of all, the Hannah thing. As of where we are right now in the book, Tobias has sort of been like kind of put out there that like Hannah could be alive, except for the fact that she would never leave Avery, so she's probably not alive. And so at this moment in time, Toby is not thinking that Hannah is alive, but we do have this note from Hannah that was written like at an unknown date, kind of more recent. I mean, I guess like before she died, but like he never saw it until now because she like encrypted it. And it's just like, why would she write that note? It's giving she knows what's going on. I don't know. So, because when we started talking about like him, like why is he here because of Hannah, I was like, oh, we're doing this already. But he still thinks that she's dead. So I do still think there could be a reveal later in the book that she's alive, but I don't know. So we'll just let that be whatever that is. And then what everyone else is doing right now. Lyra and Grayson have found, I'm really confused about what's going on with Lyra actually, but it is interesting. There's the Thomas guy who she thought was her father, but turns out wasn't her father. She was like kidnapped in her youth, and her parents thought that she didn't remember it, which is why they never like told her and brought it up. And so like, I don't know who the Thomas guy is. I don't know who her real father is, but like it's some connection to Alice Hawthorne. So like we're figuring that out. They're going back to Hawthorne House now, and Lyra and Grayson were also just caught by the paparazzi because of Alyssa and her scheming, which like smart on her end. So yeah, that's what's going on with them. And then Rohan, Savannah, Knox, Brady, and Gigi are in the bayou, investigating the Thorpes, kind of. So Gigi and Savannah are currently in the Thorpes house, unmonitored, and Gigi just found Matthias Slate, who I love and am obsessed with. I literally like their whole interaction. I highlighted like the entire thing. I love them together. My whole thing is like, a lot of this book and a lot of Gigi's stuff in this book is a lot of like her thinking she's unlovable, like her being like, I love everyone, but like no one loves me. And I really think that like by the end of this book she's gonna get a man. I just don't know if it's gonna be Locks or Locks. I don't know if it's gonna be Knox or Matthias. And honestly, I don't even care either way, to be honest. I think I would really like Matthias, but Nox and her have such great energy that like I don't even care. But like when Matthias showed up, she was like, Matthias is here, like, and me too, girl. So we'll see. But that's sort of where I finished. So I'm gonna read like maybe 10 more pages and then probably be like snoozing. So yeah, it's the next day. I didn't read a ton last night, but some interesting stuff did happen. Gigi keeps getting like approached by people, like she was approached by Nora and then now Helena Thorpe about being like chosen for one of the mantles. I don't know which one it would be, whether it would be like the Kala or the Watcher or whatever, or the Hand is like the top one, I think. But then there's the Watcher and the Judge. The Judge is the top. I think the Watcher is the bottom ring, so I don't know. But like that position is filled right now, so I don't really know what she's being scouted for. But Gigi was like given the opportunity to say yes to something and she said no. And it's somehow connected to whatever Avery's doing. Who was it? Oh my god, in the woods, Calla Thorpe came to Gigi and gave her this option. So she was approached by Nora, Helena, and Calla all about, or maybe not Helena, I don't remember. But definitely Calla and Nora. And Calla was like speaking to her fears, kind of talking about how like you've always been the weak sister, like don't you want to finally do something, which is kind of what Gigi's been saying in her inner monologue this entire book. But Gigi was like, no, I'm like strong on my own, like I don't need to do this doesn't prove anything. Just like really good, like period girl. And so she said no, but it was kind of, Calla basically said something along the lines of like, Gigi asked her like, well, is this what you're doing with Avery as well? Is this why Avery's gone missing? And Calla was like, I don't want to talk about Avery. I think you could be a much better option or something like that. Like it made it seem like Avery, wherever she was, isn't their top choice, which is interesting to me. Because Avery made it seem like she went willingly. Like, I don't really know. So, and okay, so my main confusions right now are that all 3 of the positions seem to be filled. We know of 2 of them. We just don't know the Monteseros or whatever it is, which I think is Hannah. So like we know that all 3 of the positions are filled, so I don't know what they're like auditioning a new person for, like Avery, Gigi, like I don't know what they're trying to get. So that's where we're at right now. I'm back in my bonnet. I just need to give a little update. I'm officially halfway through the book, over halfway. Reached my reading goal from like 5 days ago, but whatever, I made it. I've reached part 2 officially, which I forgot that it's like split into parts. I'm assuming it's only 2 parts. I don't know, but yeah, so I'm over halfway now. The very end of part 1 was the reveal that the whole Crucible thing, which like Crucible, if I'm remembering correctly, is from the letter or the postcard that Hannah hid for Toby, or that we're assuming it's Hannah. Yeah. She hid the postcard for Toby that had Crucible hidden in it. And so they were looking for like, what does Crucible mean? What does it mean? And then they figured out that Crucible is the name of the like competition that is held in order to find a new member of like the trio. Which then there's the Gilded Blade, which I don't know if the Gilded Blade is the name of the trio or if it's something different, but that's something as well. So it seems that Avery and Eve and maybe some other people are now in the Crucible, which is like a competition, training, prove yourself sort of situation. So that's fun. We don't know where it is. We don't know very many details. And then other than that, what's happened is people got into the Devil's Mercy. So Jameson went in trying to get details on Avery. I forget exactly what he was trying to do down there. But he's trying to find Avery. And as he's going down, he's following all the steps and stuff. Savannah sneaks in there, and so Savannah goes down with him. He thinks that she's like messing him up or whatever, but Rohan has actually written something on her back, and so whatever it was, I don't know if it's revealed at this point, but whatever was written on her back gets her in. So her and Jameson are in. She meets with Zella, who tells her that if Rohan gets the position of the proprietor, that he can have no like worldly attachments. So she basically tells Savannah that like if I almost just called him Zoran. If Rohan if he becomes proprietor, they can't be together, is basically what she told Savannah. And Savannah, because we read that in Jameson's POV, and Jameson just sees her running out of the room. So I don't really know where Savannah went at that point. I think we're meant to assume that she's gotten out of the Devil's Mercy and is just like not coming back to Rohan. But I don't know if she's still down there or what. And then Jameson is down there. He looked at the ledger, which is like this list of different like bets or sort of like wagers that people made with others. And he looks and finds the wager that he made the last time he was there, and written on the side of it is like stop looking, dear boy, or I don't remember exactly what it says, but he basically knows that it's a warning from Alice Hawthorne to like stop. And so he's like, she was here. And then when he's down there, he has like a big moment. I low-key, like, I thought he was drugged with the way that he was describing it, but it wasn't like, I don't think he was drugged. I think he was just like overwhelmed. He starts noticing all of these calla lilies all around the Devil's Mercy and all this stuff. Like, he starts really freaking out. I guess he's just realizing that like the Devil's Mercy is like attached to the calla lily thing, and like maybe Avery is down there somewhere. I don't really know. I'm a little bit confused as to what's going on, but I think I'm gonna keep reading a little bit because Jameson's still down there, so I might try to figure out what's going on there. Also, I'm like, I don't know if the Crucible has started yet or if there's other competitors in it other than Avery and Eve, because like Gigi was supposed to be recruited for it, but she turned it down. I don't know if Savannah had any involvement with it, but Grayson was also like thinking that Lyra might be invited to do it. So all of the girlies are getting invited to the Crucible. So it's crazy. But yeah, I'll let you know if anything crazy happens. Okay, I just read for like low-key over an hour, I think. I don't even know. The bonnet's actually killing me. But I'm that far in, so over halfway still. Doesn't look like that much past halfway, but I'm almost at page 300. It's like 500 pages, so there's that. But literally so much just happened in the part I read. Like, let me try to think back. So Gigi and Knox went into Thorpe's house, mansion sort of thing, and they got a lot of information from Helena Thorpe about the Crucible and about like how they have like 3 candidates for the Crucible, and then one of them ascends, then becomes the Watcher. And it happens like every time the judge like ages out or is about to die. So this sort of thing, like it just happens every once in a while. And then if you don't ascend to becoming the Watcher, the other two candidates, if you survive, get sent off to like rich families, because it's all women. So the girls are then like married off into like powerful families and are still part of the Gilded Blade, which is like a larger thing. So yeah, so basically what we're getting from that is that Eve and Avery are two of the three candidates for this time around, and I assume we're gonna get a third candidate. I'm feeling like Savannah might be a candidate. Who has POV? Does Savannah have POVs? Savannah doesn't have a POV, so maybe it's gonna be Lyra, or like Gigi already turned it down, which is what's getting me. So I don't know, because I didn't even think about the fact, like I was really thinking like Avery not having a POV in this book kind of shocked me, just because she's so clearly like off doing a different thing right now. So maybe one of the girls who does have a POV is gonna become the third. I don't know. I'm scared for them. I'm so scared for them. But yeah, there's that. And then Savannah, as I already said, Savannah found out that like Rohan, when / if he becomes the proprietor, is gonna have nothing to do with her, because he can't. And so she pulled the absolute boss move of the century, disappeared for a few days, got money out of her trust, and has like fully given him over the 10 million pounds that he needs to like buy the proprietorship. She gave him the money and she said, "Get out of my face." She also gave him some like random objects, like a glass rose, a hairbrush, and maybe a knife. I don't know. She gave him some other objects, so I'm like, I don't know what that really means. Probably gonna mean something, I'm sure. But yeah. So like it was so fierce, and she was like very much like, "Don't even dare think about me since you're taking this, like, stupid idiot." It was so fierce. And I think Rohan's gonna turn it down. Like, I don't think Rohan's gonna become the proprietor. I think Savannah's too important to him. Yeah. Also, going back to the Gigi and Knox going to meet Helena Thorpe thing, there was this really weird implication from Helena Thorpe that, like, after the Crucible, like, someone's gonna be out to get either Gigi or Knox. She made it sound like Gigi because she was talking to Gigi, but, like, I don't know why it would be Gigi. Also, Knox is apparently the son of Orion Thorpe. Gag it. Like, I don't know. And then Lyra and Grayson are still just, like, looking to find about that man that she watched die, who I guess is, like, the brother of someone. There wasn't a huge breakthrough there. But now, currently where I'm at, everyone except for Rohan and Savannah and Brady, which Brady has just, like, run off. Like, he left Rohan. He's just, like, out there somewhere. But everyone else is at Hawthorne House. Because they've got, like, they're sort of just, like, compiling everyone's information right now. Because they're trying to figure out, like, again, where's Avery? Hello. They're very worried about the fact that Gigi found out that, like, not all of the candidates survive. So they're worried about, like, is Avery in danger type of thing. Yeah. I also just want to say, circling back to the Hannah of it all, there was this moment where Toby, what was it? Hold on. It was when Gigi was telling them that, like, not everyone survives the candidates, like, not all the candidates survive. There was this line of being like, Toby seemed very worried about that. And my immediate thought was that, like, somewhere deep inside him, he thinks that Hannah might have been a candidate. But in retrospect, he probably could have been thinking about Avery. Like, sure. sure, Avery. But then there was another thing that they were like trying to figure out like who had invited Avery to the Crucible, because I guess like each of the three gets an invite. So they think that the Watcher or Calla, but we don't know if it's actually Calla. We don't know if Calla's actually alive or not. But whoever that is, they think that they invited Eve. And then they were like, the judge, which is Alice, probably invited Avery, but there's also a chance it could have been the other person, which is the Hand, I think. Whatever the other one is, who we don't know who that is, which I think it might be Hannah. There was a line, like kind of throwaway line of being like, well, there's a chance it could have been that person, but Jameson didn't think so. It's giving foreshadow. Also, Gigi and Knox are like not giving romantic. Like, I don't know I don't know if I'm stupid or if that was just like never a thing. Like, I think Gigi's just a very social person, and so she was definitely like kind of feeling Knox at some points, but now it's very much giving like Gigi and Matthias. Like, there's like Knox is like sort of like out of the picture, which, hey, I don't even care. I love Matthias. So yeah, but we're about to get a Lyra chapter, so gonna keep reading. I'll let you know if anything crazy happens. I literally forgot. Literally what just happened is Nora showed up at Hawthorne House. Spook, first of all. Second of all, she knows Grayson from Harvard, which I'm like, gag. Like, first of all, yes, let's bring up that Grayson went to Harvard, thank you, but I'm just really excited to see where this goes. Like, they know each other. They kissed at Harvard. Oh, you want to talk about Mother? Bruh, this is so funny because earlier in this book, there was a mention, like, Grayson, like, randomly mentioned that, like, I've only kissed 4 girls in my life, and, like, something, and it probably came back to, like, Lyra or something. Lyra. And I literally was like, who's the 4th? Because obviously we have Emily, Avery, and Lyra. But I was like, 4 girls? Who's the 4th? And I literally Googled it because I was like, who has Grayson Hawthorne kissed? Because I was like, surely, like, there wouldn't just be, like, some random, like, off-page kiss that she was counting that, like, we didn't know about. And now it makes a lot more sense. I had, like, literally no part of me thought that that detail was going to come back in some way, but I guess this was the 4th kiss. Wow. You think you know a guy. This is the most confusing book I've ever read. There's so much. More things keep being revealed. Like, suddenly it's no longer 3. There's actually a 4th person. There's the 3, and then there's something called a Kiri, which is like a family. It's like inherited, a role that's inherited, and it has to do with like keeping them all in check to make sure that they're like doing the Gilded Blade right. There's so much going on. So that's, Nora is part of Kiri, but she wants the 3rd invite to the thing, and she suggested that she thinks Lyra might get an invite, and so she thinks if she can prevent Lyra's invite, then Nora will get invited and be able to like try out for it. So we're kind of like waiting to see if Lyra's gonna get an invite, I guess. My theory of Hannah being alive knows no end, because so they basically determined, they're trying to figure out when the last Crucible was, which this is so stupid. Avery's mom died like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, I think Avery's 19 and I think her mom died when she was 15, so I think it was 4 years ago. And they're saying that Calla was taken away for training 6 years ago. So sometime in between 6 years ago and now, there was another crucible to choose whoever the current watcher is. And that was like Zella was involved in that crucible. Like, you know, it wasn't like super recent because we know that like Zella was around like 2 years ago or whatever. It's like sort of between like 6 and 2 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I'm just saying, like, it would make sense. Guys, I'm not playing. I'm gonna read you a passage. This is from Jameson. The last crucible took place sometime between 4 and 6 years ago, and we know crucibles can last a week or a year. Slowly, Jameson looked from the timeline to Toby. And 5 years ago, Hannah died. Oh my god. Is this about to happen? One thing I will say as I'm reading this, like, especially compared to Glorious Rivals and maybe The Grandest Game, I don't know. I remember this specifically in Glorious Rivals where, like, first of all, I didn't really enjoy Rohan's POV in that book that much, and I also felt like Savannah and Lyra's POVs were very... Does Savannah have a POV? No. Lyra, I just felt like Lyra and Savannah as characters were very similar. And because of that, in the last book, I felt like every time we switched POVs, I was just like, ugh, get me back to Gigi. But in this book, I actually am like equally, well, not equally, because I do love Gigi more than the rest, but I really am enjoying all of the POVs like on their own. I just feel like it's very like paced well, it's well balanced. Like, even though there's exciting stuff happening and then we switch to a different POV, it's still just like, oh, I'm excited to see like what this person's doing now. Like, it's very good. Okay, I got to page 350. It's almost 3 a.m. and some crazy stuff is happening. It's being heavily implied that Hannah is alive. Like, I don't actually know. They went to a horse stable with Lady Monoceros was the name of the horse, and the Monoceros is obviously like one of the 3 girls. So they went there, and it basically, like, obviously in code, but had the 3 names of the 3 women. So it's Alice Hawthorne, a woman named Catalina something Reyes, who is related to Lyra, a sister of Lyra's, maybe, long lost. And then the 3rd one was a palindrome, the same backwards as forwards. And so we're basically assuming that that means Hannah. Zella will not give any information. She will not say what Hannah's deal is at the moment, so we don't really know. And also, it's confirmed that Savannah is the 3rd competitor, the 3rd candidate for the Crucible. So I'm excited to see that. And Rohan is now officially the proprietor. So I'm stopping at the part where they're about to go see Rohan, but I simply have to go to bed. So Savannah is in the game now, or in the Crucible, which I'm like, we don't have a Savannah POV though. Like, I'm confused as to how we're gonna, like, are we gonna see any of the Crucible? Because none of those people, Avery, and Savannah, don't have POVs in this book. So, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get, like, one of the people... Well, like, maybe Rohan is gonna get in there or something. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I also don't know what's gonna happen with Rohan from here on out because he's the proprietor now. So, like, surely he's not gonna be stuck in there. And also, I don't think he's gonna stay the proprietor. Like, I don't know. I'm so excited. Grayson's like Grayson's in danger. Okay, so I've got just a little bit left. I have like 60 pages left. Hannah is not alive, as it turns out, or at least we don't know yet. She's pretty much confirmed not alive, which is stupid, but whatever. We found out Lyra's mom isn't actually her mom, it's actually the Catalan woman, and her dad isn't actually her dad. So that's crazy. We found out Savannah is actually not the third competitor in the Crucible. It's actually it's Nora's half sister, whose name is Freya. What else? Rohan gave up the Devil's Mercy and the proprietor position because he thought it was going to save Savannah, but then he finds out very quickly that she's actually not in the Crucible. So he gave that up for her. That'll probably be a bit of a sweet ending. What else? Jameson and Grayson are trapped in the Crucible, like not really in it, but they're like down, they're being trapped by the people, by the Gilded Blade. Turns out Emily Lachlan is the Watcher, so that's like the position that I thought Hannah was, but it turns out it's Emily Lachlan, so she's alive. She had a whole moment sort of like trying to tempt Jameson and Grayson, did nothing. Jameson and Grayson had a little chat with Alice Hawthorne, and she's basically like, if you trust Avery, you need to leave. And just like, it was a whole Orpheus and Eurydice reference, which like had me screaming. She was basically like, you need to go and don't look back, just trust that she can do it. So whatever that means. I think at this point the best situation is that Freya wins, or Eve, I don't care, but like if Avery wins, then that's like not great either, because then she can't like live her life. So I don't know. It's all happening. But yeah, Rohan and Tobias are also trapped, by the way. There's scary things happening. They basically plan to blow up the Crucible, and the bombs have detonated, but Rohan, Toby, and maybe Jamie and Grayson are still inside. Okay, like at this present moment, I'm thinking like, I don't think anyone's dying in this book. I don't know about that, girl. Like, someone could die, I don't know. But if anything, Toby's dying. I don't think Rohan, Grayson, or Jameson are gonna die. And I don't think Avery's gonna die. But I guess we'll see. Jameson and Grayson are alive. Confirmed. Guys, I can't even. Avery's alive. But more importantly, Toby died. Toby died protecting Eve, and Eve also died. And I don't like Eve anyway, but Toby was protecting her. Also, Alice and Freya and someone else died. Horrible. But Avery's alive. And Jameson found her, and the first time he sees her, he described her eyes. And Toby always described Hannah as the girl with the everything eyes. And Jameson saw Avery and said, her eyes, they were everything. Also, Rohan is alive. He's just like trapped in a cave in water. Like, he's currently swimming. He said he's been treading water for a day. Huh? No. So I'm sure they're gonna find him. But I'm just like, I'm sick. Like, Toby. My Toby. Rohan is talking about how he doesn't want to die alone. And Nora is somewhere nearby under rubble. And she's talking to him, but she's like dying. Like, this is really dark. But he's saying how, like, every time she doesn't talk for a while, he thinks that she died, but then, like, as soon as he thinks she died, she starts talking again. But, like, the gaps keep getting longer, and he keeps thinking about how if she died first, he'll then be alone. So sad. Savannah and Rohan just reunited, and it was really cute. The way Toby told Rohan right before he died that Rohan, if he really like loves Savannah, he should give her the world and the whole sky, which is like something he's always thought about Hannah. And now Rohan is like really taking that to heart, and he's trying to give Savannah the whole world. I'm sick. But anyway, Gigi chapter now, and I just like, I need Gigi and Matthias to get it together. Like, let's get it going. I forgot Matthias was down there. He must be alive. I completely forgot he was down there with Jameson and Grayson before Emily, like, they both passed out, and then suddenly when they woke up, he was gone. So Emily, like, let him go or, like, put him elsewhere. Fuck. I'm crying because I just read Gigi's last POV chapter. I love Gigi so much. Jackson's name showed up in the book, and I literally screamed. Oh my god, Okay, so we've reached, there's like 14 pages left. I'm gonna be sick. I keep saying I'm gonna be sick. There's like something else happening, and I don't know what it is, but if it has to do with Hannah or Toby, like, Hannah and Toby are dead. But what if they aren't? Like, I don't know. The fact that we're back on Hawthorne Island with Jackson, where the two of them fell in love. Nora has just come up and is like, I got an envelope in the hospital in Switzerland where no one was supposed to track me, but they did. But it could be literally something completely unrelated, something with the gilded blade or whatever. I don't know, but I'm really like stressed right now. They're literally scattering Toby's ashes. There's no way it's Toby and Hannah. But I'm just like, there's an envelope. What is this envelope? Like, how are we doing more plot in the last 10 pages? What? There's also this description of, because Jackson's there watching Avery and Eve scatter the ashes, and he says, damn kids. His voice is gruff and his eyes were very much not. And it just makes me think about when Toby was leaving and Jackson told him, I'm glad I had more than 3 days this time, because he saw him as a son, and when Jackson had a son, his son only survived 3 days, and he said, I'm glad I had more than 3 days this time with Toby, but Toby's dead now and he's watching him scatter this ashes. This is sick and twisted. This is an awful. I'm sobbing. I can't. Tears are streaming down my face, but there's an Avery epilogue, and it says happily ever after. And I don't know if there's gonna be a time jump, but I'm about to find out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. I'm gonna be sick. She's immediately holding a baby, and I thought it was her baby, but it's actually Libby and Nash's baby. Oh, wedding gowns. Oh, oh my god, Gigi. Damn. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is too much, bro. I'm so sick. I can't even. Okay, so it's over. Let me clear my face. Okay. Oh no. The ending, like, let me talk about not the ending real quick. I guess it is kind of the ending, but like the whole book was sort of about this like ring of women that are like taking back power, and it got corrupt, and that's why they need to take it down, and that's why they need to get Avery and Eve out and all of that stuff. But in the end they did take it down, but they like are starting it anew, like Avery, Eve, Zella, and Nora, I think, and now kind of Lyra as well, are like starting this new era of the Gilded Blade where it's not about like vicious killing people, it's about like taking care of women all around the world. Like, I was not expecting something like that, and I just think it makes so much sense, this story about the Hawthorns who have so much influence and power in the world, and like more of a commentary on like how at the end of this whole saga that power is going to continue to like be good in the world. So I thought that was really, really sweet and great. And the ending before the epilogue is Jameson proposing to Avery, and then the epilogue is their wedding, but it's like a surprise small wedding, and it's like exactly what she would have wanted. Like, I can't even. What really got me was the walking down the aisle. She starts with Oren, and then she starts walking down the aisle with Oren, and then she walks a bit with Xander, and then Nash, and then Grace. Like, her walking with Grayson actually like took me out a little bit, just because like they've got so much history there, and just like they just like care for each other so much and their family. Oh my god. And also Eve's alive. I don't know if I updated on that, but just like, what a beautiful way to end it. So beautiful. And like everyone was there, like all the characters, like, and she said how like her mom and Toby were like dancing together in heaven. Oh my god. All of the characters' endings were so sweet. Like, Gigi is like genuinely one of my favorite characters I've ever read in a book, and her and Matthias's ending, like, I'm obsessed. And like Savannah and Rohan, like, that was so cinematic. Lyra and Grayson's was so cinematic. Like, everyone got their happy ending, dude. Not okay. Like, what a beautiful story. I just think that like This series is so good. Like, I've just been obsessed with it for like 4 years. And such a good ending. Such a satisfying ending. Good job, Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I love The Final Gambit. That's not what this book is called. Simply not the book's title. What's it called? The Gilded Blade. The G's are getting me confused. That's why I keep saying Gambit. Anyway, The Gilded Blade. Very good book. It's just so entertaining. I don't even, like, I hate that it's over. Like, I want more. She said that she might do more, like, standalone type of things. If so, would love that. But I'm just, like, sick that it's over. And the fact that The Naturals is ending in November as well, I'm just like, hi, what am I meant to do after that then? What am I meant to do? Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna lose my mind, but it's okay. I do feel the need to add one more thought in here. And I'm talking a lot about Grayson, I feel. But I just feel like at this point, Grayson of the Hawthorns, Grayson is like the main arc that still needs to be fulfilled. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just how I feel. And this book ended his arc so beautifully. Like, I think him and Lyra were my favorite of like the couple endings, just because, like, since the beginning, like literally since we meet Grayson, he is so upset about like Emily's death, right? He feels a lot of guilt for it. And then there's Avery, and he doesn't end up with Avery either. Like, there's like so many threads relating to Grayson and his love life and just not finding his person. And then in Brothers Hawthorne, or I mean even before Brothers Hawthorne, in Final Gambit, there's Eve, but then Eve turns out to be like working against them, and so that doesn't work out either. And then finally in Brothers Hawthorne, Nash gives Grayson the ring box and is like, here's a ring for, like, you know, for you someday. And Grayson is like, why me? And Nash says, why not you? Because Nash truly like believed that he would find his person one day. And just like everything that happens in the Grandest Game series with like Grayson and Lyra and them coming together and beginning to trust each other and then falling in love, it's just like, it felt like such a right ending for Grayson. Like, he finally finds his person, finally finds that peace. Like, oh, it's so sweet. Oh my god. And also the fact that like Jameson and Avery were like scheming and being like, oh yeah, like putting them together would be good. So funny. Okay, so I'm done with the book. Finished it last night. Literally could not sleep because I was so just like, it was all just like spinning in my mind. I have like shockingly little to say, I think. I think every character sort of ended the way I thought it would, and like the perfect way to end everything. I think it was great. Yeah, like it was just such a satisfying ending. I feel like I should be holding the book. I think this book did a really great job of wrapping up so many loose ends that happened, and even bringing back some like original things, like the Emily thing being brought back was huge. And it also really showed like how much Jameson and Grayson had grown, because they were like not impacted by her, if that makes sense. Like, that was amazing. What else? Just like the mystery of it all was so well written, as always. I think one critique I'm hearing from people is that it's a little confusing, which I think the only really confusing part is the Kiri being added in, because it's just like, for the past 2 books, it's been very, like, driven home that it's, like, the trio, and then suddenly it's the Gilded Blade, which is, like, a whole network of women, but then there's also the Kiri, who's, like, a 4th. Like, it sort of just, like, got a little big, in my opinion, and I didn't really mind the inclusion of the Kiri, but I do think that was, like, one of the parts that felt a little unnecessary, and just sort of, like, making things confusing for the sake of adding new characters and whatever. So that's the only real like complaint I have. Other than that, I do think the whole like Hannah thing was like, obviously it was intentionally misleading because it was meant to be like a fake out, but like, just don't do that to me, Jennifer. Like, I really thought Hannah was gonna be alive. That felt like an unnecessary evil. But yeah, I think like so many arcs here connected, like bringing back Eve from Final Gambit. I finally liked Eve in the end, which is like huge for me because I really do not like Eve. Grayson finally got his love. Why not you, Grayson? I'm obsessed. Yeah, just so many good things happened in this book. I do think compared to The Grandest Game and Glorious Rivals, this was definitely my favorite of the trilogy. I also think that like, and maybe this is just because like this is where the character arcs are being like concluded and the most progress is being made. I feel like the POVs were so much better in this book than they were in Glorious Rivals specifically. I really did not like Rohan's POV in that book. I didn't really care for Lyra's either. And so like in this one I enjoyed Rohan's POV because I feel like he made so much progress as a character, so I love that. I also think Lyra's was more interesting. I like getting to go back and see her family, being a bit more grounded and a bit more sure of like where her and Grayson stand. Like I think it was just a lot better. She was less unsure of herself, so like it was really great. Gigi has always been perfect, so like nothing to really say there. She's been perfect in the beginning and she still was in this book. And Jameson, like I love Jameson's POV too. I wish we could have had like more insight into the Crucible just because I think it's really interesting, but I do understand like the mystery of it all, making sure that like we don't know if Avery's alive or not, that whole thing. So yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, other than that, I really just like cannot emphasize how much I loved the end of this book. Them going back to Hawthorne Island and seeing Jackson and him having a little moment to like mourn Toby like is actually sickening. Something about Jackson is just like, he's such a great character. But yeah, getting that closure at the lighthouse and all of that stuff, like so sweet. And then the Avery like epilogue sort of thing, like could not have asked for anything better, could not have asked. Them all walking her down the aisle literally like sent me into shock, specifically Grayson. Him calling her Miss Grams one last time because she's about to get married. It's just like the history there. And I feel like that moment like finally put a real like description on like their platonic relationship. Like it was very clear that like the way that it's described is like some things just like transcend romance, and I feel like that's exactly what we needed to just like close that chapter on Avery and Grayson. It's so good. So yeah, I love this series. I recommend all of the books. They are all so good, genuinely. I'm considering reading some other Jennifer Lynn Barnes series just because I've also read The Naturals and also love The Naturals. So I don't know, maybe there'll be more Jennifer Lynn Barnes content on here, but as of now, that's the end of the Inheritance Games saga. And I guess I'll just like have to go cry now, because what do I do now? Right. But yeah, it's been fun.